Okay, here we are at Home Cycling and Fitness. Today, JC is going to talk about some of the new road bikes we have in the store. How's it going today, JC?
I am great, Ray. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Would you like to discuss about our high-performance road bikes for today? I would say overall, with our three brands that we carry, each brand has a performance and endurance style of bicycle.
Okay.
Right now we are going to talk about Trek.
Yeah.
Madone series.
What do we got there?
This here is the Trek 2012 5.9 Madone. And what makes this bike really awesome and special, I would say, would be the Di2 shifting.
That is pretty awesome. Tell me more about that.
You cannot get any more high performance than Di2 shifting.
How does that work?
All with a simple touch, Ray.
Excellent.
So basically with the shifting on this, there are no cables, just your electronic wires coming from this sensor down to a battery pack. And with a tap of the lever, it shifts faster and smoother than any cable shifting.
Wow.
Also,
That sure is fast. Very smooth.
very smooth and very fast shifting.
Yeah.
Also, with the front shifting in the Di2, which makes it really special, as we are coming down to the higher and lower gears, the front derailleur has a laser sensor that automatically trims the front derailleur for yourself.
Crazy. Lasers.
Lasers on road bikes.
Wow.
Lasers on road bikes.
And this bike must have cost a fortune. How much is this going to set me back if I wanted to get into electronic shifting here?
If you wanted to come in last year, it would have cost you a fortune. But now it's on sale at $1,000 off. Right?
That's awesome. What are we at?
You're looking from $47.99 down to $37.99.
That's hot.
Very great bike. Another thing that's going to make the Madone series a very special bicycle for high performance, you have the high-end lightweight carbon fiber frame,
Yep.
carbon aero bars, but it's their bottom bracket design.
Yeah.
With their bottom bracket design, it is a press fit bottom bracket,
Cool.
and what makes it special is that it's 90 millimeters wide. On a standard road bike, you're looking at 68 millimeters wide.
So this is going to be a little wider and a little stiffer.
Much wider and much stiffer. It's
Excellent.
going to make everyone much faster on those hill climbs that no one likes to do.
Nice.
Especially with your faster shifting for the easier gears.
That's killer. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about some Cervelos.
Cervelo, for their performance bicycle, they actually have two. You have the Cervelo R series, which this here is the top of the line, the Top Dog R5.
Nice.
With the R5, it's a particular favorite of my bicycle. In fact, I've hand-built this bike myself.
Nice.
It is their lightest weight frame, in fact, one of the lightest frames on the market today.
What's that frame weigh?
This frame weighs 860 grams.
That's crazy.
That is really crazy. Overall, with this, it's the Vermin white design, so it's VWD.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a super stiff drivetrain along with the very lightweight frame. So again, going up to the hills, it's going to be a very easy bike to climb the hills and fast on the sprints.
That's what I've heard.
With the bottom bracket area, as we talked on the Madone, being 90 millimeters wide. This is going to be 83 millimeters wide, but they use a special spindle on the inside that is 30 millimeters in diameter. Wider is better, wider is stiffer, Ray.
Nice.
You also have another company of components on here.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
like some
not-
SRAM stuff on there.
SRAM Red, a particular favorite of yours.
Yes, you're right.
With the SRAM Red, I will have to say it's probably one of the fastest cable shifting derailleur sets and shifter sets out there.
Gotcha.
Extremely fast on the down, so whenever you're sprinting downhill, you're there. I mean,
Yeah.
your high-end gears are right there for you.
Killer.
This
All right.
bike here, what's awesome about it, it only weighs 13.5 pounds.
Wow.
So
That's
13.5
ridiculous.
pounds, put some pedals on here, those hills should be nothing for you.
Nice, nice. All right. What
Price.
Yes, what do we got? Sale price.
Again, last year would have cost you a fortune, but now we're looking at $66.99 down to $53.99. So it is
Big savings.
$1,300 off.
Killer.
Beat the price.
Killer. All right. Let's get our lovely assistant in here to get the bike out of the way.
Do my job. Talk about the next five.
Yeah, now we're going to move on to the Aero bike from Cervelo, the S5.
The S5, particular favorite of mine, I have one myself. You're going to have the same bottom bracket design as we talked about in the Cervelo R series. But man, let me tell you, whenever you want to go downhill and go fast, this bike is where it's at.
I can tell, just panning around the frame, it disappears. It's so skinny.
So thin.
Yeah.
You have very minimum tire clearance here for extreme and high performance aerodynamics.
Yeah.
For the front and rear of the bicycle.
I can't even tell where that tire goes against the frame. That's so tight.
So tight, and there's not going to let any air in there, Ray. So
Nice.
overall, this bike is going to fly.
Cool.
For componentry on this bike, we will have the Shimano Ultegra cable shifting. So
Yep.
this here is going to be the second to highest end for Shimano itself in the cable area.
Yeah.
Super lightweight frame as well. Not quite as light as the R series, but when it comes down to aero, weight doesn't mean anything.
Gotcha.
For savings this time of the year,
Yeah,
you're looking at
it's on sale too.
$4,800 down to $4,299.
Awesome.
Great bike for the money. I can tell from experience that it's awesome. I have one myself.
Cool. All right. What else you got to show us in here?
We will go back to Trek, to their newest and hottest bicycle. It's called the Domane.
Yeah. I've heard about this one. It's supposed to be very comfortable on the bumpy roads we have in central PA.
Especially Trindle Road. This bike here is going to have your high-end carbon frame, as we talked about earlier. Your super stiff bottom bracket. In
Yeah.
fact, the way that this bottom bracket with their carbon layup, it is 12% stiffer than the Madone we talked about earlier.
Wow.
So with the upright, upright geometry of this bike and the super stiff bottom bracket, you're looking for sheer comfort and performance.
Yeah. Nice.
What makes this bike very special is you have this ISO zone pivot point right here, which it is not a bushing, it's not a elastomer, it's actually a bearing built inside of the frame.
Nice.
As you sit on this bike, the seat tube
Oh yeah, you can see it move.
is actually flexing.
That's pretty cool.
It is built for comfort.
Yeah.
If you want to go out and do a century ride like is really big around here in central PA,
Yeah.
this is the perfect bike for you.
Killer.
You're looking at price point of on sale at $34.99
Gotcha.
with your full Ultegra drivetrain. So with Ultegra, you're really getting a great buy for
That
the
is a
money.
good deal for a full Ultegra carbon bike.
One other thing that makes the Domane really special, they all come with 700 by 25 tires. So
Gotcha.
you're really getting good performance and great comfort.
A little more tire width for comfort.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And then you can also do tubeless systems with the Domane rims.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
The tubeless system, man, if you hate changing flats, this is the bike for you.
Yeah. Cool.
So we'll move from the Domane to our last bike that we're going to talk about today is from Giant.
Yeah. What do we got here from Giant?
Giant, you have your Defy Advanced. With the Advanced series, you're looking at their highest end carbon fiber frames, super stiff drivetrains with the BB86 bottom bracket.
Yeah.
So it's 86 millimeters in width with a pressed in bottom bracket. What makes this bike really awesome is that it's a 900 gram frame, so it is super lightweight.
That's almost as light as that Cervelo R5 we were looking at.
Half the price, Ray.
That's crazy.
At $26.49 on sale from $29.49.
I can't believe you can get a full Ultegra bike for less than $3,000.
Giant knows where it's at.
Yeah.
They really know how to, tell people that you can get great bikes on the go
Yeah.
for a less amount of money.
Well, killer. I can't wait to talk more about other bikes with you soon, JC. Thanks a lot for showing us around.
Thank you, Ray. You
All
have
right.
a great day.
See ya.